Here's a question for you. Can you guys name 10 boy bands? Me and Danny were just sat here whilst we were waiting for the timer to go down, thinking, can we name 10 boy bands? Because there's, what do we say? Westlife, JLS, Boyzone, Busted's one. So if you guys can name 10 boy bands, you get a gold star from me and Danny, because we were just sat here like, can't think of 10. How are we all doing though? How is everyone today? We are doing a chill coffee chat. We're doing a little Q&A. Pricing ideas on commissions. So a good place to start. I mean, you're still going to have the same like buffers. You're still going to have things like postage, packaging. You are still going to have lots of different things. You're not probably going to have the oops. I mean, you could still put an oops buffer in case the order gets messed up or lost or whatever. But you're probably not going to have wholesale like pricing in there. I would start, if it was me, I would potentially start with the perceived value pricing. And I would also start with kind of saying, how many hours does this make? So if it's taking you 10 hours, I would bump that up to about 11, 12, just to account for in case like you get sick or things are put off or whatever. And ask yourself, what do you pay yourself per hour? If you were employing yourself to do the painting, how much would you pay yourself? That's always a good question. So yes, let me know, Amy, how much would you pay yourself if you were like employing someone like your clone, let's say, to do the painting, if that makes sense, right? So yeah, I would just work it out from that really. But if it is a custom portrait, people literally pay thousands for those. So it's definitely like a perceived value pricing thing. So if someone's like asking you to do a custom piece, they are aware that it's like a handmade car, right? It is going to be something that is of much higher value than one that you go and buy off the shelf, right? So how much would you guys be expecting to pay more for a commissioned piece, right? Is it okay to change a listing if it has a few sales before but it hasn't had any in a while? Depends what you mean by a while. If it hasn't had any sales for a while, as in a month, I'd say leave it. I'd say if it hasn't had sales in over 6 to 8 months, I would say, I mean, I would say if it's not had sales within 6 to 8 months, then that's your green light to kind of change it. But if it has, then I would probably leave it. I have some listings to add to my story. Is it best to spread these over a few days or all in one go? So what I do is I do like the drip feeding method, where I will like drip it sort of 1 a day or 2 a day, or like depending on how many that you have. But I would definitely drip it, because what tends to happen is you tend to, over time, you kind of like, let's say it takes 30 to 60 days for listings to like be crawled and like, you know, ranked where it needs to go. If you start one on the first, then the second, then the third, you're going to kind of, they're going to be coming up to like maturity, for want of a better word, every day on like the 30th, then the first of the next month, and the second. So you're kind of building that up. So I would probably say drip feed them, if I'm being honest. Etsy bad words to use. Ivory was one of them. I'm still surprised that I need to change my color name. Yes, so ivory, obviously with that, it is illegal to sell ivory like anywhere in the UK, as far, you know, as far as I know. So that's why that was flagged. It's what Etsy's doing right now is, because loads of people said I would like that they would like Etsy to look at more listings and kind of ban ones that aren't handmade, are using illegal like terms and things. They're doing that, but it does mean that it's AI that's actually doing that, right? So that's why things are getting flagged. Now, something that I had a lot of was people were saying, well, Steph, like I've had this term for ages and it's been fine. And you might continue to be fine, but there is that risk factor involved, right? And like, I'd much rather tell you guys and show you literally a table, which is what we did in the post. And there is a part 3 coming as well. I would rather tell you guys so that you are aware, before your listings get deactivated or you get a cease and desist, or, you know, sometimes even worse than that, right? So I'd rather let you guys know. But Ivory is definitely one. I have seen 2 people actually DM'd me and said, yes, Ivory for me got me into trouble. Question: I've noticed a flurry of orders since new listings update. Does this sound like something that would be due to new update? Have I just done something right over the weekend? No, it doesn't sound like something that would be a thing because of the update, if that makes sense. It could just be something that you've done right, to be quite honest. I would say, if you're in the HBSA, I would say go to your data sheet and actually look at what you've been doing, because something has gone right. Gemma said, is it okay to have some items that have free postage in your shop and some that have a postage cost if you can't absorb it into the product cost? Depends how much. My general rule of thumb is if the postage is less than £10, put it in your item cost. If it's more than that, you can kind of maybe subsidize it. So put maybe £10 in your item cost, then have £5 postage. I think as long as you can still remain competitive with other people in your space that perhaps charge £15 postage, but you only charge 5, right? So I think that's the kind of general rule of thumb. If your product genuinely linked, is it okay? So I sell children's pattern fabric for those making kids clothes. I have a licensed Barbie fabric, which is from a reputable company. The problem is that the license, as far as I know, I'm not a legal expert as well, so you can take whatever I say around these terms with a pinch of salt, but the posts that I put out were research terms that we'd gotten people that have used these terms. We actually looked online at like what lawyers say not to use and stuff. The license has to be with your business. It has to be from your business name, as far as I know. So even if you go to the biggest fabric wholesalers that sell licensed fabrics, the license is to them, not to you, and that's the difference. But again, there might be some people with legalities, watching that can probably say, yes, that's right or not. But as far as I'm aware, you cannot go and buy a licensed fabric from Hobbycraft, Joann's, and resell it. Just because it's a licensed fabric, it doesn't give you license to use it. Is it obvious if a listing isn't okay with Etsy? Do they give warning or do they send an email? So the way things are going at the moment is they are just closing listings and kind of sending you an email to be like, this is something that we don't allow, this is that. So they will warn you by closing a few listings. Whether you know what that warning was for or not is something different, because like I said, they are testing a AI feature. And this also leads me on to my next point as well, is that if you guys get a listing that you think shouldn't be taken off, you need to contact them, because this is an AI tool which is learning, and it's only going to learn if you guys say to Etsy, hey, we think this is wrong. So you should be able to contest it, which is you 100% should be doing that, because that is how these tools learn, is by people saying, you didn't do me right here, you did me wrong. Okay. So it wouldn't be obvious to you looking at it, but I would definitely go and have a look at the post that I put out on Instagram, which kind of gives you a list of terms. But they will deactivate it and they will send you a email kind of saying, this is why we did it. Sometimes their reasons can be really vague and you might be sat there like, what? And then that's when you email them and say, I think you might have done something wrong here, or yeah. Rachel, you've said that shop sections work a bit like tags. If I change all my shop sections, shop categories, will my entire shop need crawling again? That's a good question. I would say no, because it's not. Google reads your shop categories as well. So I wouldn't I mean, at the end of the day, if you need to change the way that your shop is laid out, you need to change it, right? I wouldn't worry about it that much. If I'm being completely honest, I think it's more important for your listings, because strictly speaking, Etsy does say that it will not crawl your entire shop. But I suspect, and I probably think by this time next year, they are going to come out and say that, yes, we do crawl your shop, because what I've seen happen over and over and over again, and I'm trying to prove it with different people's stores. But what I think that they do is, I think a bit like, because eBay already do this, Amazon do this, that they will categorize your entire shop. So let's say you are a shop that sells art pieces, right? And then you start to sell jewelry, but you've got a history of selling art pieces, and your art pieces sell well. Your jewelry might not do so hot for the first 6 months to a year, because Etsy sees your shop as being a for want of a better word, an expert at art. So that's what I think that they do. I think that they will categorize your shop. They've not come out and said this, but it is something that I do feel is mwah. I really do. I really do. And I think that there is more going on behind the scenes, shop wise versus listing wise, than I think we are aware of. Whether Etsy will ever admit it, I do not know. But it's something that Amazon does, eBay does, like a lot of different like marketplaces that Etsy, you know, kind of side eyes at and has a little look and says, oh, well, I want to be like them, you know. I honestly, going back to your question, I wouldn't worry about redoing your shop sections or anything like that, because if you don't sell something anymore and you want to take it out, then you kind of have to, right? Pumpkin Hill Shop. I've had my second back-to-back reserve on Etsy. The email I got saying is that I might have had an increase in orders, but it's been quite quiet. Any help experience with this? So are you in the HBSA? Because we did put like a whole, I think the team are actually working on a guide for this. But basically, why might my funds be placed in reserve? Temporary payment account reserves may be placed on accounts based on different risk factors, such as I need to speak. I need to pronunciate. A sudden sharp increase in orders. Orders are consistently missing tracking information or tracking events. Orders are not shipped on time. A recent increase in refunds if they are a new shop to the marketplace. Right. So guys, if you have had a sudden sharp increase in orders, that could be why. So Pumpkin Hill Shop, you might have got, and I think they probably do it based on like average order quantities and stuff. So it might trigger because you've had a lot of people, maybe like 2 or 3 people order 5 or 6 items each. That would still count, if that makes sense. Orders are consistently missing tracking. So if you don't upload tracking, I really recommend that you should upload tracking. That's why personally I switch from using the OBM Royal Mail, where you buy your postage through Royal Mail, print it off. I just went to Etsy labels because it does it all for me. And honestly, I've never had my account placed on reserve or anything like that. Also, orders are not shipped on time. If you need to extend your shipping times, do that, because that will give you some more leeway. A recent increase in refunds, that's also one. And if you are a new shop, so if you are a new shop, that might also be why. So what to do if you're placed in reserve? Check your email. So basically they are letting you know that they will email you. What to do to reduce the chances of payment? Ship your orders on time, mark orders as complete, respond to any messages. See here, interestingly enough, it's saying respond to any messages from customers quickly. So it could be then that they might start linking it to the star seller thing, which is interesting. This is quite a new announcement that they put out a couple of days ago. So yeah, so basically do all of the things that I mentioned and your account should be fine. Hi Stephanie, will the star seller badge get you seen more? At the moment, they say that it's not affecting search. In fact, I do check the Etsy news every single day, multiple times a day. But let me just have a look and make sure that I haven't missed anything. No. So currently at the moment, it shouldn't affect your search. However, when it can affect things, it's because if you notice on Etsy search on the left-hand side, now they have a tick box. So it used to have items on sale, free postage, and now it's got a little tick box that says Etsy star sellers, so you can filter your search results by those people who have a badge. Right now, the only other thing with that as well is that they now put little purple badges that say star seller like in the search results. Some people have it and some people don't. So that to me is kind of saying they are starting to ramp things up so that star sellers are seen more higher in searches. Poppy, it takes me over a week for basic artworks, and I end up making between 50 pence an hour to £2. No, Poppy, no, because I'm scared of charging more at the moment. 250 for a 3D embroidery piece. Should I charge what I would actually pay? I spend £750 on a custom piece once and no regrets. I'm scared I'll get no sales though. This is something that is very loaded, and this, I feel, Poppy, actually, it's less of a business question and more of a mindset question, right? It's more of something that is work that you need to do on yourself, and like you're almost like a self-worth thing, almost like is what I make good enough? Because you've already said there that you spent £750 once on a custom piece and no regrets. But when it comes to yourself, there's almost like a feeling around this comment of I'm not good enough to charge that, or I'm scared I'm not going to get sales. And the thing is that you actually might find that you might get more sales. Because again, like perceived value pricing, it works both ways. If someone comes up to you and says, oh, hey, here's an iPhone 14 for like £99, you're going to be a little bit sus. You're going to be like, great, but no. It's the same with, and I find that artists, especially people who make custom pieces, really struggle with this because they are extremely creative people, but I feel as if sometimes they're more interested in doing the project than actually charging what they're worth. So I would say this is definitely something. Poppy, I think you're in HBSA, aren't you? I see. Thing is, once you've got like 550 odd people in a course, you start to forget people's names. So I would say that if you wait a couple of weeks until the new 4.0 version of HBSA is uploaded, there's a much more in-depth mindset bit which talks a lot more about this. But it's definitely something that I would say is a mindset issue. I would start by perhaps making a list of reasons why you feel you can't charge £750. No brain power needed for this. It's all in here. Like, what is floating around in your mindset that is telling you you can't charge that? Start by writing a list, and then and it could be something really dumb. Like, you could write down, because what I make isn't good enough, because I don't use the best materials, because I work from home, because you could like list for ages, right? And then actually ask yourself, take that thought to court and be like, does this, because I work from home, let's say, does that really mean that I can't charge what I'm worth? Not really. People aren't interested where it's made. They just want to make sure that it is made in the best way, right? So that's what I would do. I would make a whole list and just really make sure that they are, and 9 times out of 10 the reasons that you list aren't going to be legitimate reasons why you can't charge what you're worth, right? Rachel says, my sister paid £300 for a pet portrait, then went back for a second one too. Yes, for sure. My customs aren't pet portraits, I should add. Yes, yeah. I think I got that from your comment. I am in HBSA. Awesome. Luna Lapis Crystal says, oh, this is for you, Poppy. She's directing this at you, okay? So hang on, I'm going to read this comment to you because I love it. 250 is far too cheap. Definitely charge the value. If you are concerned about the price point, then have smaller, cheaper pieces, key rings or small GI gift tables so that you have a range of prices. Yeah, so that's one option, but I agree. I concur. I think that is far too cheap. And Rachel says here that my sister paid £300 for a pet portrait and then went back for a second one too. For sure, yeah. How do you copy listings without people feeling suspicious there's more than one listing for the same color or item? See, this is something that I get a lot of, and this comment surprises me, because the fact of it is that when you go to, any clothes shop, but let's say like New Look, right, you will notice that there are the same items in different places in the store, right? It's something that as shoppers we are used to seeing. You see a green dress, you see it with the dresses, you see it like in front of the store when it's like a brand new thing, and you probably see it in the green products as well. So actually having one item put in several different places works really, really well. But if you're concerned, I would say put them in different shop sections so that, like, do exactly as the big box stores do, like put it in different places, right? But no, the short answer to that is no. People tend to, well, one thing I will say, as long as your shop is organized correctly, i.e., you don't have a category that's got like 85 products, then like 5 more that have like 2 or 3, and you've got to organize your shop correctly and make sure that people can navigate it out, fine. But I don't really think that it's going to look sus if you have more than one in there, right? Double checking, if I change my photos and prices, it won't affect my listings. No. So like ranking wise, no, I actually have a video on my channel which lists all the things you can and can't change, so that might be helpful. I see small businesses mentioning the C word already. Is it too early to be thinking about it? No, in fact, we are going to start our Christmas prep course. We're going to start that in July, I think. So not actually too long. So no, it's not too early. If you need to chat to me, if you want to talk to me, if you want to ask me any questions, send me an Instagram DM. Instagram is where I'm most active, to be quite frank. I love Instagram. It's like my thing. But guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you all in the next one.